When grading a card, there's two factors that are most important. It's the centering and corners. So today's grade school, we're going to talk all about corners. Eye appeal is everything when we're looking at cards. The number one aspect of eye appeal is centering. If a card is off-centered, it's going to throw the whole eye appeal off. Same with corners. When we have four sharp corners, that's an area that's going to take the most wear. So if we're handling a card, or if we're talking about an older card, maybe a vintage card, when handling that card, that wear is going to show the most on the corners. So corners are very important. But how is the grade of corners determined? Let's take a look at some different aspects of corners and talk about the grades. So some of the issues you can have on a corner include dinged corners, which is simply when a corner is hit, it can either bend it, crease it, and cause overall damage to the corner. White spots, which is simply on a darker bordered card, the surface may have flaked off from handling, and that's what we call a white spot. Corners are also very susceptible to alterations. Things such as trimming, pressing, recoloring, even restoration and rebuilding of corners. All these types of alterations are found specifically on the corners. So we'll take a look at a couple of these as well so you know what to look for. Today we have some 2024 Top Series 1. Great example for some of this because these borders at the top are black ink, and so they're going to show even the tiniest bit of white spots or wear. It's going to show very quickly. So we're going to start with a very easy one. So as we see here, this top left corner, we see there's a white touch or a white spot on the corner. And so this could have happened in manufacturing when it was cut, could have happened in the pack, most likely happened being handled after the fact. But we see there's slight damage to this corner. This corner right here, if we were to give the subgrade itself a grade, this is going to be in the 8.5 range for a corner. So now let's look at what we call a ding or a corner hit. As we can see on this card here in the top right, at first it looks like a white touch or a white spot as we mentioned before, but we can see that the corner actually has a bend to it where it's been slightly hit. Now this is a very minor ding, and this, if we were to assign a grade to the subgrade itself, this would be in the 8 range. Now talking about dinged corners, this is an extreme example for a modern card. As we can see on this card in the top right, that's some pretty heavy damage there. This card most likely was probably dropped on the ground. And as you can imagine, dropping a raw card on the ground is not going to bode well for the corners. So in this extreme example where it was dropped, if we were to assign a grade to the corners itself, this would be in the 5 range. So this would be a severe defect. And finally, we're going to look at an altered corner. Now, as I mentioned, some of the alterations to watch out for on corners include trimming, pressing, restoration like rebuilding of a corner, and then color touch or color added or recoloring. Now on an ultra-modern card, it's going to be rare that we'd ever see a corner rebuilt, and so we're going to today look at an example that's recolored. So this goes for any type of card with a dark border, especially a black border. We're going to take a look at this top left corner here. Turn the card on its edge. If you see color bleeding through the card edge or onto the card edge, we know instantly that that's definitely an altered card. When the cards are printed, they're printed on a sheet, then they're cut. So therefore, you're not going to get printing or any type of ink from the printer on the edges of the card. The edges should be natural white stock. So if we see that there's color on the edges, we know immediately it's an amateur job of recoloring. So that, in a nutshell, is what we look for on corners on ultra-modern cards. Now, when we get into vintage and into pre-war, it's a whole nother beast. So look for that video on CGC Cards Grade School coming up. So if you found this video helpful, please hit the like button. And for more great videos on how you can learn to grade cards, please subscribe to CGC Cards Grade School. I'm Andy Broom, Vice President of CGC Cards, and thank you for watching.